said, it's not solvable, sir. You can't, don't do it. I said, I will do it. I will do it. And I got on the phone with the two countries. They were great. They were great. I knew immediately. I knew as soon as I started talking to them, we're going to solve that war. We did. Now they're so happy. Now they're friends. One said he's been president for 32 years, 22 years. He said, you know, for 22 years, I did nothing but kill his people. They were in the room together at the Oval Office. And they started off spread like this. I have the beautiful Resolute desk. And one was here, and one was here. You couldn't get further away. That's the furthest I've ever seen two people in front of me. And as the hour went by, they got closer, closer, and closer. And at the end of the hour, we had it done. And they hugged and hugged and hugged. And I said, that's so nice, and you're going to remain friends. And I spoke to them, one of them the other day. He said, no, he's now my friend. But for 22 years, he's been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years. And the other guy, great guy too, 7. And you know that war, that was a war that was not solvable. He said for 7 years, the other one said for 22 years, all I did was kill his people. That's all I've done. I said, well, we're going to put a stop to that, so we solved that. So it's a great thing, it's a great feeling. You know, you're saving Kosovo, Serbia, you're saving so many lives doing this if you can do it. But our people deserve nothing less than the very best, and we're never going to let them down. And if we can solve wars instead of you having to fight wars, wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be wonderful? That's why one of the first executive orders I signed upon taking office was to restore the principle of merit. That's the most important word. Other than the word tariff, I love tariffs. Most beautiful word. But I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I said tariff is my favorite word. I love the word tariff. You know, we're becoming rich as hell. I had a big case in front of the Supreme Court, but I can't do that. Because this is what other nations have done to us. And we have great legal grounds. But we still have a case. It'd be very bad. Something happened. But I said, my favorite word in the English dictionary is the word tariff. And people thought that was strange. And the fake news came over and they really hit me hard on it. They said, what about love? What about religion? What about God? What about wife, family? I got killed when I said tariff is my favorite word. So I changed it. It's now my 5th favorite word. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But they hit me hard. But it is. I mean, when you look at, we've taken in trillions of dollars. We're rich again. And there'll never be, when we finish this out, there'll never be any wealth like what we have. Other countries were taking advantage of us for years and years. You know that better than anyone. And now we're treating them fairly. But the money coming in is, we've never seen anything like it. The other day they had $31 billion that they found, $31 billion. So we found $31 billion and we're not sure from where it came. A gentleman came, a financial guy. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, we don't know where it came. I said, check the tariff shelf. No, sir, the tariffs haven't started in that sector yet. I said, yes, they have. They started 7 weeks ago. Check it. Comes back 20 minutes later. Sir, you're right. It came from tariffs. 31 billion. That's enough to buy a lot of battleships, Admiral, to use an old term. I think we should maybe start thinking about battleships, by the way. You know, we have a Secretary of the Navy came to me, because I look at the Iowa out in California, and I look at different ships, the old pictures. I used to watch Victory at Sea. I love Victory at Sea. Look at these admirals. It's got to be your all-time in black and white. And I look at those ships. They came with the destroyers alongside of them, and man, nothing was going to stop. They were 20 deep, and they were in a straight line, and there was nothing going to stop them. And we actually talk about, you know, those ships. Some people would say, no, that's old technology. I don't know. I don't think it's old technology when you look at those guns. But it's something we're actually considering, the concept of battleship. Nice 6-inch side, solid steel, not aluminum. Aluminum that melts if it looks at a missile coming at it. It starts melting as the missile's about 2 miles away. Now, those ships, they don't make them that way anymore, but you look at it, and your secretary likes it, and I'm sort of open to it. And bullets are a lot less expensive than missiles. A lot of reasons. I should take a vote, but I'm afraid to take that vote because I may get voted out on that one. But I tell you, it's something we're seriously considering. There were powers. They were big powers. They were just about as mean and scary as you could be. So we're looking at that. One of the biggest cases that we won was the decision of the United States Supreme Court to allow us to proceed on the word merit. Merit. So those two words are right up there. So this is, I would say, the opposite of you ask for a definition, the opposite of political correctness. We went through political correct where you had to have people that were totally unfit to be doing what you're doing for many reasons. I won't get into them. But for many reasons, they were unfit. Now, it's all based on merit. That is such an unbelievable decision. I didn't expect we were going to win that one. We went in. That's what we needed. We went in for colleges, where kids with a C average are getting into the best colleges, and the kids with A averages won't get in. And kids with the highest boards and the highest marks and the best marks couldn't get into the best schools, and people that had not good boards and not very good marks, I mean, okay, but nothing special, they were getting into our best colleges. I said, this is just crazy. You can't run a country like this. And it was lingering for years, and it got to the Supreme Court, and we won that decision. Merit, everything's based on merit. You're all based on merit. We're not going to have somebody taking your place for political reasons because they are politically correct, and you're not. We take the people that are going to do the best job. That's all. It's very simple. And that's the way our country was built. We were built on merit. We got away from it for a long time. And everyone understands it. And it was done. It was approved. I give great credit to the Supreme Court because I thought they had tremendous courage. I didn't think they'd do that. That was tremendous. I give them maybe for that decision almost more than anything because it's a hard decision to make. It's really hard. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness. And you can never be great if you're going to do that. And we're going to be greater than we ever were before. We're bringing back a focus on fitness, ability, character, and strength. And that's because the purposes of American military is not to protect anyone's feelings. It's to protect our republic. And it's the republic that we dearly love. It's to protect our country. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom. And we will be a fighting and winning machine. We want to fight, we want to win, and we want to fight as little as possible. You have to count on people like me to keep you out of wars because we don't want to go into wars. Many of the wars that I just told you about, we could have entered those wars and settled them in a different way, lose a lot of our troops. And we could have settled them, I guess, differently. Maybe not, actually. Actually, you might not have been able to settle them. We just would have been in the middle of a lot of firepower. But when we do need it, you're going to be so ready. And you know it. But very importantly, with that goal in mind, I've committed to spending over $1 trillion on our military in 2026, and that's the most in the history of our country. $1 trillion, that's a lot of money. I hope you like that. Ma'ams and sirs, I hope you like it. That's a hell of a lot of money. We have the best of everything. Every branch is seeing major investments, and as I announced in the Oval Office in March, we are rapidly moving forward with the first ever 6th generation fighter jet. I didn't name it. I did not name it. Boeing came in and they said, sir, this is our submittal. It's the greatest fighting jet ever done. And you know, they're testing all these planes. All the companies are testing, and this one testing through the roof. We'd like to name it the F-47. I said, all right, let me think about it. Then after thinking for about 2 seconds, I said, okay. You know what that means, 47, I'm 47. So I'm 45, 46, and 47, if you think about it. I just don't want the credit for 46. I don't want to have their open borders, people coming in from all over the world, including jails and mental institutes. I don't want that on my record, but I like having it. We're investing tens of billions of dollars in modernizing
I'm
our
glad to see you
nuclear
made it in one
deterrence
piece.
capabilities like
So what's
never
this new
before.
information you found?
And we've begun construction on what we call the Golden
This
Dome missile defense
might
shield.
be
It'll
hard
be
for
the
you to
most
hear.
sophisticated in the
Just-
world. You
just
watched
say.
it
I
do
didn't know
well
this until now.
they had some problems at the end with
Looks like my father
a little bit of a
was the one who brought
lack
you to the
of
Baron.
ammunition,
But he didn't
defensive
bring me here to
ammunition,
torture you.
but they've
He
got
brought
that
you here to
taken
help
care
you.
of.
Yeah, I guess
But
the
I
Baron
tell
had
you,
other
it's what
ideas.
we're
I'm
doing
sure
is so
my father
good, and we
wanted
deserve it. You
nothing
know,
to do
we,
with any
we
of
help
that.
other countries with it. We don't have it ourselves.
But he still brought me to the Baron.
And Canada
Voluntarily.
called me a couple of
told
weeks
you.
ago. They want to be part of it.
So, how was your
To which I
dad's?
said, well, why don't you just join our
Research
country? You
project.
You were
become
infected,
51,
but
become the
sentient.
51st.
Part volatile, part human. My dad managed to restore your humanity. At least on the outside. Inside, you were something else entirely. The Baron wanted to replicate that. Replicate you. The Chimeras were his attempt at that. To genetically engineer the perfect predator. But one he could control. But Chimeras weren't his only goal. Camilo's area of research was another. Telepathic communication and mind control.
So what's this twisted motherfucker's endgame? What does he hope to gain?
I don't know. But we need to find out.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe all that matters is ending him. You find any more chimeras for me?
All the data pointed me here. To the Baron's latest creation.
I'll let you know when it's done. You get to safety. Done. Now it's time to take down Daddy.
You do realize that these monsters share more DNA with you than the Baron.
And these aren't my babies. These are his murderous nightmares, and it's time for him to pay.
You think you're ready?
I better be. Because we're only gonna have one shot at this.
Kyle, the Rangers tell me the Baron is using something to make the infected even more dangerous. So, be extra careful out there.
Kyle, it's Lydia. Remember the samples you got us? Camilo ran some tests, and they look promising. Meet us at the gardener's cottage in the old park near the psychiatric hospital. We'll brief you.
Something I thought was MIA. Oh.
Our approach here is too soft.
At least safe here. Why all this fuss about tapping on them? Risking blood.
now makes our problems flee. Have to think about the now. Now is okay-ish.
My name is Kyle Crane, and I survived the apocalypse. When the virus hit, I was a mercenary for hire, selling my skills to the highest bidder. An organization called the GRE dropped me into the quarantine city of Haran to recover a top-secret file from a rogue agent.